gentlemen, how are you doing? Hang on. Whoa, this is confusing me. Wait there. James Woods, he'll do. I like him. Let me sort the background out, and you will be welcome to the BBC Spews. Honest, as soon as I figure out how to do it. Bosh. Where's my pub gone? Bosh, there we go. And how do I get rid of Crime Stoppers, fella? No, that's not it. Crikey, hang on. I'm a bit of a boomer, you know this by now. Also, this is annoying me. Why is that picture of red car keep appearing over my head? Oh, here we are. Get rid of that. There we are. Sorted. Thank God for that. I'm a bit late because I had to go and get ammunition. I need ammunition. I've decided it's vital that I fill my house with enough ammunition to take out the Chinese Navy. I want at least that many rounds. And Paula's coming in. So I think she's down here somewhere. Let me figure it out. There we go. Paula's here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
You're looking healthy, Paula. You look healthy. You look younger than me anyway, so well done. I will say you've got a better camera. You've got a better camera than me. Yeah, I was like...
It's the lighting, isn't it? It amazes me like how the lighting changes everything.
Yeah, Ben Dykes was telling me to buy a better camera. He said, it looks like you're filming on a potato. I said, fair enough.
The lighting, Matt, really has nothing to do with the camera. It has to do with the lighting.
Okay, I'll get some one of these days. Anyway, welcome to the BBC Spews Live. We know I don't actually cover the BBC Spews that much because the BBC, being the horrible, crooked, bent organisation that they are, have put a paywall on a load of their stuff. So I'm going to put it up and try and cover a few of their stories. But I don't know if they'll work because I think it's only breaking news that'll work on the BBC now when you're abroad. They want you to pay for it. And frankly, that is not happening. I'd rather give Jeffrey Epstein some of my money than the BBC. You know, at least he was indirectly.
So they're charging for all the stories now, or just the juicy ones?
Okay, so that one works. No, I believe the new thing is if you're not in the UK, you have to pay unless it's breaking news. So if it's breaking,
or unless you have a license with them in the UK.
Well, that's the crack in it. They're trying to say that if you haven't got a TV license, you shouldn't be using the BBC. But I would argue, I used to have a TV license. The other thing is they charge you for all the stuff when you've got a TV license anyway. Like I used to say that if you're living in the UK and you're paying for your license, shouldn't you get like Planet Earth DVDs for free? Like, what aren't you already paying for it?
Yep.
I just hate the whole idea of having a TV license, especially now I live in the States. Like, it's proper authoritarian making you pay for a license to have a television, isn't it? Why do you need that?
You know, right before I came here, I just heard the news that in the UK, they have arrested over 12,000 people for post and putting post, like we're not over 12,000. And then Russia, which is considered a totalitarian regime, according to the West, they have only put people arrested 3,319.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? It's
amazing. In the last 5 years, whereas in the United Kingdom, just this past year, it's been over 12,000 people arrested.
Staggering. So the UK is worse than Russia and China, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah, amazing. Not unexpected from someone like me or you, right? I mean,
how did the UK end up there? That's what baffles me. How did they? And then this guy Stammer sits there saying, "Oh no, free speech is the what we're all about."
Oh, he's a rat in a suit. I'll tell you how we got there, though. This is why he's viewed as the great Satan in the UK. Tony Blair. Because Liz Truss just gave an interview to Visegrad. Did you see that? Liz Truss gave an interview to them. Visegrad 24. Well, they're quite a sort of base news organisation because they're Eastern European. That's why. People that don't know the term, the Visegrad Group is the name they give to the 4 biggest nations in Eastern Europe. So it's like, who is it? It's Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, is the Visegrad 4. So the Visegrad news organisation is quite based generally. The only thing they're mega biased on is Russia, Ukraine, obviously. But the Visegrad news organisation is quite good, and a lot of people follow them for that reason. And she just gave them an interview, Liz Truss, and she was saying how the only thing that really irritates me is that she's only coming out with all this now that she's not.
Yeah.
Now, in fact, I'll show you up because I've just threw it up on Twitter.
Now that she's in a position to do anything about it, now she's being all.
Yeah, that annoys me. She never said shit when she was the Prime Minister.
Yeah, she could have done a lot more. That's for sure.
But now she loves doing the media rounds. So this is what she said, and it's definitely true. It's definitely true. You know for a fact it is. It's got the ring of truth to it. But we'll have a listen.
Millions of people were allowed.
We won't because my audio's. Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You can hear that, all right? Okay, it must be on my end. Right, we'll start over.
Millions of people were allowed into the UK under Conservative leadership.
That is true. In the same way as the general public don't know what's going on, actually a lot of government ministers don't know what's going on. When you go to number 10, you only see things presented to you by the civil service. We have, in this country, empowered unelected people. The police have been captured, ideologically captured. And the only way to change that is to make the police accountable. And the second thing you need to do is you need to make the judges accountable. Our culture is being undermined. Our civilization is being questioned. If I was Prime Minister, I'd send the Navy into the English Channel and send the boats back. You could say that to the Ministry of Defence and they would say, well, it's not legal to do that.
And they just wouldn't send
And they wouldn't do it. And you can't sack them. The civil servants pull the levers rather than the ministers. That's what I learned. These people want to destroy our country. That's what we're facing.
Speak not to me of laws. My men have weapons.
I personally...
Quote. You know what is true? So the thing is, right, you might not know this being not from the UK originally, but everyone in the UK knew and knows that this is a thing because the only way you can get the truth out is through comedy. And there was a fantastic British TV show called Yes, Prime Minister.
Oh, yeah. I used to
have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I watched it. I lived in the UK for 7 years, sweetie.
Yeah. So you did see that. So it was 1980s, came out. And they basically made this clear to the British public what we knew, which is the real power is the civil service. The civil service are there to keep the ship steering straight, regardless of the chaos in politics. But the problem is, and this is where it all went wrong, when Tony Blair came in, he root and branch, with the massive majority that he had, went through the civil service like a dose of salt, and he seeded it with all of his own creatures. And now you've got these Blairite creatures running the entire civil service, dancing to his tune. So there's nothing, until we get a massive majority in Parliament of people that are willing to have the same Machiavellian overbearing attitude as the Blairites did and just physically turf these people out en masse. It doesn't matter who runs the country. And this is why, even though Liz Truss has just told the truth there and said all that stuff, people haven't got much sympathy for her because she's only started gobbing off about it now she's not in power. When Johnson, Sunak, Truss, or any of them, even, any Labour or Conservative have been in there, they're happy to let the civil servants dictate what happens. And it's only now that she's out in office, she's gobbing off about it. And then I just stopped the video there because that's hilarious, isn't it? The black copper doing like twerking. It's unbelievable. And these two here with the flowers on and that, like it's ludicrous. So we know that that's what's happened. And see, I only found out about this when I was Prime Minister. That's what she said there.
First of all, she's lying. If she was a member of parliament prior to that, which she was, and she's been in politics, she has known this all along. And it really bothers me when I see politicians, I just found out. That is absolute BS. I worked as a diplomat. I can tell you that even I would know. We know what's going on. So for her to come out and say, oh my God. And the problem is that now she's in a position where she can't do anything about it other than bitch about things, right? And she gets the privilege of not being arrested, unlike the other people. So why didn't she do something about it? She was in a position of power. She could have pushed for legislature to change. She could have used her platform as a prime minister to literally highlight what's going on in the police and all these things. And she would
Yeah.
have been hugely popular. I think that she didn't want anything to change. And now that she knows that she got out, she's just doing the press tours, making money, calling everybody out for something that she could have sorted herself out. It's just for me. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Understandable, isn't it? What I want to know from you is, you're a diplomat. You were a diplomat. Is it the same in every Western nation? Like in
Terrible.
Norway,
It's terrible everywhere.
in Norway, is it the civil service that's got all the power? The judges, the civil
Absolutely,
service.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. The thing is, it's not just the civil service. This is the people that she wants to make it think that it's the little people that have the power. That is absolute bullshit. I'm sorry I'm in your channel, but that is not true. Civil servants are people who are like a 9 to 5 jobs and stuff like that. People who are making the decisions and who have the real power are directors, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They do a lot of the business. It should be called the Ministry of Business because they do a lot of business. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is basically what controls your policies abroad and inside, and who you do business with. This is why you have Prince Andrew, for example. He was a trade envoy. That was a new position. But it's basically what the government does with diplomats. When you go to an embassy, you will see at the embassy you have consular affairs, you have business section, because then this is why you have a lot of receptions. You have politics section, and of course you have the spy section that nobody talks about. But she knows absolutely not. It's not all the civil servants. Do you think that the cops doing the beat, the cops that are sent to arrest people have the power? Honestly,
Yeah.
Matt, clearly not. They have to follow orders from a few elite ones. Are you telling me that those 6 coppers that showed at that gentleman's house knocking on his door, remember the ones that were filmed,
Yeah.
have any power? No, they were told, you go now. Do you think
Yeah.
that Keir Starmer doesn't have the power? Do you think that Charles didn't have the power to pardon Lucy Connolly? I think it was Lucy Connolly,
Yeah,
her name.
Lucy Connolly. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had
no,
the
you
power.
are right.
He has the power to pardon.
Britain is sovereign parliament. Like, if you've got a massive majority in the House of Parliament, you can do whatever you want. You
Yep.
can sack all these people. And they don't want to because they're doing the dance at the globalist scumbags bidding.
Absolutely. She's a liar, and it really bothers me because now she's laughing about it. Why? I can tell you the people who have been arrested, people who lost their livelihoods, the people, when you see all these immigrants that are coming and punching people in the face, women in the face, the streets are not safe. They're not laughing. They don't enjoy her level of protection. They don't enjoy her level of freedom of speech because now she's literally doing what these 12,000, more than what these 12,000 people were arrested for, but she gets
Yeah.
away with it. Because why? Because she's the elite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think that what we need to do is hopefully install one of these, not the uniparty types. Like, again, everyone's slagging Farage off all the time, but at least have to give the man a chance. I think he's playing the political game and he's trying to desperately navigate that centre ground so he doesn't alienate the normies. But you have to give him a chance. He's never had real political power, so you have to see what he's going to do. I'm hoping, because, you talk to the average Reform councillor or Reform voter, the proper right wing. Like, I'm thinking, at least give him a shot. Like, I think he is, because he's a political animal and he's been in politics for decades, I think he is more right wing than he lets on. Like, he's been anti-Brexit and pretty right wing for his career. But now he's on the main stage. Now he's like, oh, we don't want to deport everyone. And then it's only when the public go, yeah, we definitely want to deport everyone. Then he goes, okay, then we'll deport everyone. It seems like he is malleable. So I think we have to give him a chance before we just bin him straight away.
The thing is that if you want to get yourself elected, you cannot be too extremist because these people are still have enough power in parliament or whatever to stop you from even being elected or even running. So in many ways, you have to dance to the tune you're playing and you have to do very smartly. Once you're in, they can still sack you like they did Liz Truss. They put enough pressure on her that you can get the prime minister to quit, guys. But for example, I think that Nigel Farage might. You'll never know unless you put him in. I mean, literally, I think he's better than the choice of the others that you have because it's just the thing is, it's so disheartening to know what the hell anybody's going to do, because you put them in power and then they turn out that, it's not what they can do. Like now Liz Truss is coming out complaining. Oh, she's basically saying I had no power. It's these people, it's the small people, it's the little people that have the power. I don't know if she's saying it to give people the illusion that if small people had power, you wouldn't have over 12,000 arrested. People wouldn't be terrified. People wouldn't be terrified of making a post online. People wouldn't be terrified. You wouldn't have all these Muslim people, like extremists and all these criminals coming through, punching people in the streets and not doing anything about it, and the police not doing anything about it. You know that case
100%.
about the police woman, the white police woman that was punched in the face, her broken nose and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Nothing has come out of it. Have you noticed? There was a big uproar when the guy policeman was pulling that Hindu or whatever the hell guy was onto the ground, but and people are quick to condemn all these. There were riots and stuff, but as soon as they found out that guy had punched a white police woman in the face and they tried to tell him to take it down and everything, it suddenly died down.
Yeah. No, he was a muzzy, definitely, because they're the protected class in the UK.
Or the guy that killed the 3 little girls in Southport, and then he attacked he threw boiling water at this. What came up of him?
I know. It's
So Liz Truss is a snake. Liz Truss, for me, this is just my opinion. She's a snake because she knows she had power, and now that she's out of it, Matt, it's like if you're in a high position in your company, and this is if you're the CEO, even though you're beholden to the stock owners and whatever, you have a certain power. She could have exposed quite a lot of crap. She could have declassified quite a lot of things. She could have said to the police or exposed to people, what are we doing this for? Yeah. She could have used her platform to highlight, I really don't like the way this country's going with the immigration thing. I don't like the censorship. She could have said that.
Mm-hmm.
She could have said it, and it would have mattered more than now that she looked like a hypocrite, disgruntled woman. That's just my opinion. I mean, you may disagree, but I think she's a hypocrite. She did have power. She chose not to use it. And now when she got out, she's trying to excuse herself, saying, well, I couldn't really do much because it's the little people. Bullshit.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. Like, I'm not. I don't want you thinking I'm sticking up for Liz Truss. Christ on a bike. I'm just saying, she's telling the truth at least now. I mean, she is a weasel. But what she's saying there about the civil service having all the power, that is true. And the point I was making is, we knew that in the 80s, the genius of that. That's how British genius comics in the UK have always done it. Like, the morons that run the world don't let you get away with saying it if you're being serious. So what they've always done is snuck their way around it by being subversive with comedy. And everyone knew that, yes, Prime Minister was just basically how it is. That's how it is. So we need to go through the civil service like a dose of salt.
Yep, absolutely. It is what it is right now. And you have people, it's like the gaslighting. For example, Keir Starmer getting on national world television next to Trump saying, oh, we have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is like this and that. And it's like, are you serious?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Hang on, I've got a couple of super chats here. God's best friend says, is it only me who thinks Starmer's Palestinian state declaration looks like a sign of life Hamas video? Possibly. I mean, who knows who's pulling his strings? Starmer's for sale to the highest bidder. Same fella, he says. It was Trump in 2016. That's why he follows my orders. He's the global village idiot. Well, I don't know. I'm not having people slagging off Trumpy Bear on my channel. Sorry for that. She tried to shake things up and was taken out. Well, see, that is what we do know, right? Definitely. She was the victim of a coup, right? She did an hour-long interview with Sargon that I saw. Definitely. Because the stuff that she tried to do wasn't even radical. But now the commies have got the bit between the teeth. They feel like they can do as they please. Because her very boring run-of-the-mill budget basically made Rishi Sunak get installed. That's what happened there. People don't seem to realise that. He was installed. The Bank of England and the civil service conspired to crash the economy momentarily so they could throw her out. And again, because the British public are just neutered, they just let it happen. By hook or by crook, she was the one that chose. And you got an installed foreigner who they always say he's as English as anybody else. But why were they having street parties in India when Rishi Sunak was installed as the Prime Minister? Bit weird that, isn't it? If he's as English as cricket and rice pudding. Like, I don't
Terrible.
understand
It
that
is
one.
terrible. Stammer is such a, he really has no spine. He really
Weasel.
has no spine.
He's the biggest weasel we've ever had as Prime Minister. But
How
again,
can
and this
you
is
look
what...
at somebody straight? Can you imagine, Matt, looking at people at the press worldwide? And what really bothers me is that the press didn't call him out. Oh no,
they're
we
all-
have freedom of speech, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, am I being punked?
Yeah. No, it is. It's mental. You know what? I was talking about how Peter Hitchens is like my idol now. Like, I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. And like I said, Peter Hitchens, I was right on the pandemic, the whole thing, because I was parroting Peter Hitchens. You know, I've been a big fan of his for years now, and I was just reading his column. And at the time, so you'd have to be going back, what, 4 years or something now, like very back to when I started my channel. I was only getting it right because I was parroting Peter Hitchens. It wasn't me being clever. It was me. I basically read all of the different opinions from all of the journals and the newspapers that I read, of them all, digest them all, and he made the most sense. And he was right on the money. Like, he was calling it bang on exactly what happened the month before the first lockdown. Like, everything he said was spot on. And then when he gets to the Starmer election, we disagreed again because I'd been saying for the last year, listen, we have to vote for Johnson. And then we got him in, and he was awful, and he did all the globalist open borders shit. So then I lost my rag, and I told my whole audience, right, we have to throw our hands up, accept the fact that Labour are going to win the next election. And I was right about that. You know, everyone can tell you 3-4 years ago. I was like, hey, let me tell you what's going to happen. Labour are going to win by a landslide because 20-25% of the Conservative voters are sensible and get the news online and have realised that the Conservatives are just Labour. So 25% of them are going to defect to Reform and UKIP or what have you. Labour are going to win by a landslide. It's going to be terrible for 3 or 4 years, and then hopefully, finally, maybe we get something akin to a sensible state, free state, no open borders, conservative values, government installed. So I was right about all that, but the one thing I was wrong about is Peter Hitchens, who spent 10 years telling us to destroy the Conservative Party. So he was totally right. He made a TV show all about it called Toff at the Top in 2013. Did you ever watch that?
No, that one I didn't
amazing.
watch.
You got to check. It's on YouTube. Toff at the Top, and it's an hour-long
Toff at the
documentary.
top?
Toff, as in like a posh toff.
Oh,
Toff at the top.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a documentary all about David Cameron, and he was right on the money. And at the time, I was saying, oh, I love David Cameron. He's a great Prime Minister. You know, this is back in 2013. I'm like, oh, David Cameron's a fantastic Prime Minister. Yeah, really good. Definitely one of the best ones we'll ever get. And he was right there. And I watched it and thought, oh, yeah, I thought he was a Conservative. Why is he having a go at the Conservatives? And he was 100% correct about David Cameron. Talks about destroying the Conservative Party for 15 years while I was voting Conservative. And then when it finally came to enact the grand plan that we were all talking about, he started campaigning for the Conservative Party. So this is just before Starmer got elected. So this is a year and a half ago. And Peter Hitchens, who spent 15 years saying destroy the Conservative Party, says, now we have to vote Conservative. And I was exasperated with him. He even responded to me on Twitter. I was like, Peter, you've spent 15 years.
He responded to you?
Yeah, he did, yeah. I said, Peter, you've spent 15 years telling me we have to destroy the Conservative Party, and now we finally get the chance to do it. And I admit I was wrong and you were right for the last 15 years, and now you tell me to vote for God. What are you doing? And he just replied to me, and he said, trust me, with age comes wisdom. You are always better off voting for the least worst option. And as of right now, it's the Conservatives. And I was like, what a wanker. He's ruining the plan. Make sure we don't vote Conservative, get Labour in, we can tolerate it. You know what? He was right. He was right. Starmer has been 10 times worse than anyone except Peter Hitchens was saying, because honestly, and this is going to piss my audience off because none of them voted Conservative in the last election. I didn't. We would be better off, wouldn't we? Like if we had Rishi Sunak or I don't know, who would it be now? If we had the Tories in charge, it wouldn't be quite as bad as it is now. There's no way. So Paula has disappeared on me. Mid-rant, I'll get her back on when she pops up. But I'll put that to the audience and I'll do some super chats now. It wouldn't be that bad if the Tories were in, would it? Like, it couldn't be as bad as this. They wouldn't have given the Chagos away. They wouldn't be doing the digital ID. Maybe they'd have got some people out on the immigration thing we set up with Uganda. I don't know, like, I know they're awful, but Christ, Starmer's been 10 times worse than I ever imagined it was going to be. God's best friend said he is Trump, always was. All right, well then, make more clear super chats because I'm the galactic village idiot. He's a global one. Doesn't sound like you're pro-Trump there, mate. Starmer gets his power from bottom intruding the Eastern European teenagers. Well, we definitely know that's happening. Why would Ukrainian rent boys set his house on fire? How did they get his address? How can random Ukrainian rent boys know the address of the Prime Minister and where his car's parked and his old address? Like, tell me that if you think I'm being a weird conspiracy theorist. It wasn't Labour, it was Hamas who won. Well, I mean, you're not wrong there. Anyone who's a full-blown jihadi votes Labour at this point. The Labour Party proved this to us decades ago. They swapped sovereignty for power. And if you want to see evidence of this, go find the video of Angela Rayner. Oh, hang on, I used the full name, Angela Rayner.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
Angela Rayner prostrating herself before all of these radicals in a big bell end shaped church. She was prostrate on the floor. Please, please, please vote for me. If I thought I could help end the war in Gaza, I would resign me. Proper on her hands and knees, gobbling off the very, very bad-tempered goat shagger community. So yeah, you know what went on there. Why is it that most of the Labour politicians are thick as mince yet have gotten themselves into a position of power? I honestly am scratching my head. Another thing that I've told you, which I'm ashamed of, is we always used to gob off, being northern and working class, about how the rich shitbags who ran the show were all, you know, self-serving scum and all that, and how much better it'd be when we got our chance. Tony Blair ushered in the era of actual working class and middle class people running the show instead of, 80 very wealthy families. And how bad's it been? How bad's it been? I can't believe how bad it's been. All this has proved to me is that I should have known my place, right? The working class scum should have knew our place because it was better when a bunch of inbred rich people who actually believed in this old system of looking after the lesser people. It was better when they were in charge. Please give me a gibbering simpleton, right, with a big-eared boy for his offspring, his inbred offspring. Give me them back. Because you can't tell me it was better since Blair came along. And now we've got grasping, self-trimming shitbags like Angela Rayner. I hate Angela. Oh no, I said it again. Like Angela Ray.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
I hate her. And all of them, right? They're not like old toff families now, are they? The Chancellor's not old money. Starmer's not. They're not all old toffs. Jacob Rees-Mogg's an old toff. Who would you rather have in charge? I mean, I'm not taking the piss. I'm being serious. The working class oiks, we got our chance and we shit the bed, didn't we? Because I'd give my left knacker to have Keir Starmer binned and replaced with possibly inbred 10 generations of wealth Jacob Rees-Mogg. He's 100 times cleverer than him. Crow got us a super sticker I have. No idea what that is, but I'm hoping it popped up on the YouTube stream. Yeah, so honestly, I don't know what else to say about that other than I genuinely think, oh, there, I have to say it now, the Chancellor. I'm trying to win the game. Ragnar. Anyway, Ragnar, you get your wish if you pay. Rachel Reeves. I've got to say it now.
She's a spastic.
Yeah, I love that puppet. I forget what he was doing with the puppet in the film, but that is brilliant, that clip. Yeah, we're knackered, aren't we? Even like, I'm trying not to use his name, the Scottish Cyclops. Even he wasn't a bad Prime Minister compared to Starmer. He's proved us right. Wrong. Hitchens. There's nothing worse. Starmer is worse than any Prime Minister we've had in my lifetime. Well, except Tony Blair. I was a kid then. But, he's... Peter Hitchens, savant, genius that he is, has just showed us. It's embarrassing being working class because we got our chance. The little people got our chance. And look what we did with it. David Lammy, the Chancellor. Look what we did with it. And we should be embarrassed. There's just a gang of simpletons. The current Chancellor is without any doubt the thickest woman we've ever had. The thickest Chancellor we've ever had. And probably the thickest woman within 20 square miles of 10 Downing Street. And this is who we've ended up with. Bring back the posh inbreds. Bring back the posh inbreds, I'm telling you. I'd rather have that. Starmer, him and Blair, the worst too, by far. So Hitchens was right. And Peter Mandelson, oh God, got to do that. Peter Mandelson.
How's the wife?
Oh, gone. I was living a lie and she knew it, but now I'm able to go out and enjoy some serious cock guilt-free. Yumma, 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 yumma.
Yumma. How bad was he? Mandel twat. The worst thing about him is they gave him an OBE or some shit, didn't they? They made him a sir. And at the time, all the monkey hangers despised him. Everyone hated Peter Mandelson. Despised him. And apparently, they put him on the same ticket as Jeff Stelling. You know, everyone like up the northeast loves Jeff Stelling because he used to do the commentary on Soccer Saturday. So apparently they put him on the same ticket. So if you wanted one to have it, you had to give the other one it. And that's how Mandel Twat got his little award. Kamala, don't come. Starmer, don't talk with your mouth full. Yes, don't. Kamala's an embarrassment. Again, no, she's not as bad as Starmer. Kamala's just a self-serving bag of jizz, spunk bucket. Kamala. I told you my nickname for Mrs. Bootneck is Slut Bucket because we were on a train in England about 10 years ago and someone was stood in front of me and they pulled the phone out and they read the text message. It was some lass, I think. And I look at the phone, you know when you just glance over someone's shoulder because the texts were big and someone said, how you doing, Slut Bucket? And ever since that day, I told my wife, I was like, I'm pinching that. That's your nickname. Slut bucket, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's what Kamala's just absolute slut bucket, spunk Bowser. She's gobbled away at the top of politics. Quite how someone that thick came that close to being the president of the United States of America is another damning indictment of the state of modern politics. It's appallingly bad. These middle and working class, self-trimming, self-serving arseholes. Like, this is what I'm saying. You're better off with posh wankers, aren't you? Because posh wankers don't need the money. Like, Trump, is Trump not an example of what I'm talking about? I know it's going to sound annoying to loads of you lot, because, I mean, I'm proper chippy and I proper hate posh people. And I spent my whole life hating posh people. But I'm definitely wrong. Or I was wrong. You're better off with posh wankers than this. Don't tell me. Trump, billionaire, not bothered about money, best president of my lifetime. Because he's not there, desperately greedy. It's one of the reasons why I like the Queen Elizabeth. Because she's told from birth, this is your duty, you have to do this. So it removes ambition. They've got no ambition because they know they're always going to get it. Trumpy Bear's not obsessed with money because he's always had it. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Crikey, more super chats. Neil Young, have this boot. That's not a question, but thanks all the same, Neil. I'll have that for booze. I'm taking all my employees on the lash today, so I'll spend that. Defo. Oh yeah, I have to give Neil Thistlewaite a shout out as well. Don't know why. Don't know why. Is there any chance of a shout out on a video? I know you get loads of requests for it, but it'd make my day as I'm an Everton fan and need cheering up. How could I deny an Everton fan a shout out? Neil, you unlucky Scouse twat. There's your shout out. All right, you can have that. What else have I got going on here? Find your way, man. Love to see Starmer try and go in his local once he's been dethroned. Contacted my uni last week and asked them for a refund on my degree because my grammar was corrected by someone from the borough. Hey, my grammar's fine, I'll have you know. Just because I can't speak the language doesn't mean I can't read and write it. A very simple way to test if someone's not solid is whether they can read properly. I'm surprised how many people aren't very good readers. Even I work in the aerospace industry. There's a few people who I'm quite surprised when you say to them, oh yeah, make sure you read the test plan properly. Like, well, what does that say? You know, when you're teaching someone. And then they sort of like go, Trump promised retribution. I was like, hang on, how come you people call me thick? I've got a chip on my shoulder because the instant insult anyone Southern comes to when you hear my voice online is you're thick, you. There's this stereotype that if you're Northern, you're thick. If you talk with a posh accent like Jacob Rees-Mogg, you're clever. And if you talk like me, you're thick. And I've got chips on both shoulders about it. The whole reason I'm as argumentative and chippy as I am is because of that. Because I love being in a pub with some toffee-nosed chiseler from Cambridge. And then I love tying them in knots intellectually because I'm a chippy wanker. It happened in York. I was arguing with this bloke who was a professor at the local university, and we started having this big long-ranging debate. And then I started on about evolutionary biology because I read all Richard Dawkins' books. And I was saying to him, what you're saying goes against science, doesn't it? Because if our long evolutionary background explains much of our behaviour, that's why evolutionary psychology is such a big discipline these days. What you're saying is patently wrong on account of the fact we used to be chimps. Well, we're apes. We haven't got tails, we're apes. And this guy was just flabbergasted, and he just went, I can't believe a Royal Marine is telling me about Richard Dawkins. And I was like, yeah, because you're a wanker, and you instantly think you're cleverer than the person you're talking to, and that's why you're wrong. You're probably not lower IQ than I am. Maybe you're slightly higher IQ, but what you lot do is you get arrogant. You believe your own bullshit, and you get the letters behind your names, and you get the expensive educations, and you rest on your laurels. It's the equivalent of Rocky versus Clubber Lang in Rocky 3, when he gets lazy and Clubber's hungry and he wants it. I'm not saying I'm the cleverest man in the room, but what I am is a chippy bastard. I'm a chippy, bad-tempered northern wanker with a boulder on both shoulders, so I'll put the mileage in. I'm Clubber Lang doing press-ups in the shitty gym, running up the hill at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're Rocky posing for the photos with your daft shorts on. That's the difference. I'm chippy about it, and I read every day, and I learn every day, and I listen every day, and I listen to The Enemy, I read The Guardian, and I listen to the BBC, and I read The Spectator, and I read The Economist, and I listen and I learn every day, and I don't rest on my laurels because I'm not a fucking insufferable middle-class arsehole with an expensive education and a head full of horse shit, and a daughter who's going to have a severe limp because you told her every day, everybody's the same, Guinevere. Everybody's the same, yes. Of course you should go down the dark alley with the 8 Somalian men because everyone's the same. And the next thing, she's leaving a snail trail down the street because she's been bummed within an inch of her life because daddy's a fucking idiot. Anyway, there you go. You can have that rant for now, lads. Did I miss anything there? George Galloway arrested on return from Russia. Brilliant. Brilliant. Rounding them all up. This is mad, isn't it? This is the tyrannical managerial overlord that Peter Hitchens told us about. That's what he keeps saying. He's right. And I've been saying this for ages. I prefer the old left. I prefer Corbyn. At least Corbyn actually believes what he says. Corbyn is a fucking idiot, but he's believed that for his whole life. It's right. I prefer them. I prefer proper, authentic lefties to whatever this creature is. Whatever this creature is. Yeah, but I was on my 9th pint of Do As You're Told. I'm Clubber Lang, you and Mickey. Mickey. I'm not that old. You're a bum, Rock. You're a bum. Paula went to check out a fire alarm, apparently, and I don't know what happened. Hopefully her house hasn't burnt down. You never know with her, because if she's still in commie territory, they might have sent the commissars round. I have no idea. So let's cover some good news. Trumpy Bear. God bless him. God bless him. Trump promised retribution. How far will he go? Oh, God, I love it. Please, a man can only get so erect. Don't, Anthony, come on. You will be, if I lose consciousness, it's because 4 pints have just rushed to my nether regions. All right? If I suddenly start slurring my words, it's because Anthony has engorged me. He's filled my throbbing member with hot blood, reading his piece about how far Donald Trump is going to go to fuck with these horrible, self-serving sacks of rats in Washington, D.C. Let's have a read. Donald Trump swept into the White House this year, promising, among other things, retribution against his perceived enemies. 9 months later, the unprecedented scope of that pledge is fully taking shape. Perceived enemies. Perceived enemies? Really? They're only perceived enemies. Was Axel Rudu Kanubu just a perceived enemy when he was knifing little girls in the face? Because that's how blatant and in your face Donald Trump's enemies were. What do you mean perceived enemies? You mean brazen, in your face, yellow shell suit smoking a Cuban cigar enemies? It's not a perception. They're his enemies as naked as the day you were born. They are his enemies. They are his embittered, eternal foes. And if he has any sense, he will crush them utterly. All right? He has vocally encouraged his Attorney General to target political opponents. He suggested the government should revoke TV licences to bring a biased mainstream media to heel. Yeah, because they're biased. You've answered your own question. They're biased, so they need bringing to heel. Of course they do. He has targeted law firms he sees as adversaries, pulling government security clearances. Trump's moves have been conducted with the kind of open zeal that might belie how dramatic and norm-shattering they are. His demand a week ago that the Justice Department prosecute a handful of named political opponents is the kind of thing that, when it was discussed in private and revealed in Oval Office recordings a half-century ago, prompted a bipartisan outcry that led to Richard Nixon's resignation as president. No, that's hyperbolic, isn't it? Because he hasn't broke into anyone's hotel room. If he was half as fascist as these mental cases say he is, that ginger comedian who held his severed head on the front of a magazine cover would have got casinoed, and by casinoed, I mean drove into a cornfield and suddenly been staring at a pre-dug hole and 8 blokes with iron bars. That's what fascists do. And they've been calling him one for 10 years when he demonstrably isn't one. So yes, you're his enemy, and you should feel thankful that he isn't the tyrant and the monster that you paid him to be. So that's good. This story's not good, is it? Because it's all hyperbole from a left-wing BBC knobhead. And they're trying to excuse it, aren't they? Because James Comey is guilty as hell. It says hours later, Trump's Justice Department announced it had indicted James Comey, the former FBI director and Trump critic, whom the president has said was guilty as hell days earlier. Yeah, and they just killed Charlie Kirk, so we don't give a shit what you've got to say, Baldy. Anthony Zurcher can suck my stump. How does that sound? I'll tell you what, we'll go to X because it's a better source. Let's find I know what I'm looking for because I checked this. Gunther Eagleman. There we are. Much better than the left-wing arsehole on the BBC, right? Breaking, Senator Chuck Grassley just announced that an FBI whistleblower revealed to him an FBI project called Arctic Frost that targeted groups like Charlie Kirk's TPUSA, Turning Point. This is a bombshell. He says that they are releasing those documents today. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic Frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump, it was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, nay, the world. I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. And if you don't know what they actually did, I'll refresh your memories. This all started under Barry Hussein, who, as we now know, aggressively used the IRS to target political opponents, and it only went downhill from there. And the FBI, and this is now a fact, and we were saying this, dear listeners that are right-wing, we were saying this several years ago. I'll just type in FBI Jan 6, we'll get some good stuff, I'm telling you. There we go. Everything we said comes true, as usual, same as the pandemic, same as the jabs, same as the Wu flu, the Kung flu. Oh, look, it came from a lab in China. He said it a week into the shit show, while Foreskin Fauci, that little meatball-headed poison dwarf, was lying on national television. It's all come out. And all the shit we were saying about the FBI and the feds is now a proven fact. And that's why you can say it now, finally, on social media, when they banned and silenced us for years for even bringing it up. I got a 2-week ban for reading the Time magazine article where they were gloating about it, right? That's a fact. You'll remember it. It was up for a day, and then I got a 2-week ban for reading your Time magazine article, because they were just admitting what they did. In fact, now I can read it out, so I wonder if I can find that. There it is. Read this out. Got my channel banned back in the day. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. I got banned for 2 weeks for reading a Time magazine article. I'm going to put it in the chat now so you can read it for yourselves. That piece is still up. Brazen, still up. In that piece, in Time magazine, they tell you, yes, you gutter snipes, you working class scrotums, yes, we definitely cheated and we couldn't give a flying fart what you have to say about it. Back in the day, you couldn't read it out or else they'd ban you. Now they can't because Trumpy bears in and he's got the bit between his teeth. That's what they did. They cheated. The only good thing to come out of all this is, you know what, it's like a movie. Everyone was saying the whole Trump thing is like some fantastic movie. It really is. It's like Return of the Jedi. It's like, there's a great David Gemmell book where the villain does so many things to try and kill this good guy who barely noticed him. By the end, when the good guy finally kills the villain, he says to him, if you hadn't have done X, Y, and Z and done all this stuff to me and my friends and my family and my loved ones, I would have never come after you in the first place. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy, don't they? It's in so many books and novels and plots. Because that's life. And what these scumbags did when they were doing all that, and they gloated about it and they cheated, and they shot poor Ashley Babbitt in the face, and they seeded January 6th with 274 FBI agents, and the whole thing all they did was made it way easier for us to cleave to power now, because honestly, everything turns out all right in the end, which is why I've always said you trust the public, you trust the great British people. It always turns out in the end, doesn't it? Because in 2020, I was fuming about the fact that they'd so obviously cheated. But now, and you can disagree if you want, I'd love to know your thoughts. It does seem like it's been way better for us, because the aforementioned civil servants that we started the conversation with, where they have the power, it doesn't matter who you get into office. It seems like if Trumpy had won in 2020, they would have continued the endless obfuscation. But giving him that 4-year respite, he really seemed to have done his homework. He spent 4 years preparing, writing up his lists of all of the people he needed to get at, writing out, monitoring all the worst civil servants, pulling on those different levers of power, coming up with a thorough, meticulous plan. And I honestly feel like if he won in 2020, they'd have just carried on with the same obfuscation where we couldn't get anything done, because he was quite disappointing, wasn't he, 2016 to 2020. But now that he's came in after that 4-year respite, I think it's been perfect for him. I think Donald Trump's first, I mean, what's it been? It's only been 10 months or something, hasn't it? His 10 months in power has been a revelation to me. I think he's done 10 times better than anyone expected. He's done 5 times more than he ever would have got done if it was 2020. He binned that rat Mike Pence. He dug his heels in with scumbags like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. He flushed out all the rhinos. I think it's been marvellous. I think he's got more shit done in the last 10 months than any other American president did in the 25 years prior to him combined. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. I can't think of any 1 or 2 or 3 policies that American presidents did in the 25 years leading up to him that were as good for working class people like me as Trump's first 10 months has been. Slamming the border shut and going from 300,000 encounters to 20 is a revelation. The man is a savant. That's the greatest drop in illegal immigration ever in history, ever. And that has done more for working class people than anything anyone else has done in the last 25 years. He's dropped taxes. I've now got slightly more in every paycheck I get. He's enforcing the law. He's making the police scary again. He's making the criminals afraid again. He's making it so kids and women feel like they're going to walk down the street safe in places like where I live, a small town. Because the coppers are scary. And you know if you mess with them, you're going to get a bat or a bullet in the head. Law and order, low taxes, illegal immigration. Those 3 things, he's been a revelation. So in 10 months, he's done more for us than every president over a 25-year period. So you tell me I'm being hyperbolic. The man's a visionary. I can't thank him enough. He's, I would, not only would I happily vote for him again tomorrow, I'd crawl across broken glass and suck his cock to get into the voting booth. that means me. I guess that does make me part of a MAGA cult. But honestly, I can't stress how pro-Trumpy Bear I am now. I'll buy a Trumpy Bear. I'll wank him off if he visits my hometown. Whatever he wants. The man is visionary. And he's even started blowing the drug boats out of the water. Amazing. Amazing. And he stopped the trans madness. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The bloke is a savant. Absolute genius. He can have me any way he wants me. I think he's been absolutely class. So, I mean, the offer's there, Donald. If you want to smash my back doors in for the good of America, you're welcome to it. I've told you this before. The thing is, being a bootneck, I'm so manly, I would be willing to get my back door smashed in by Donald Trump because I'm a real man and I'm straight, so I wouldn't enjoy homosexual sex acts with the leader of the free world. But because I'm a real man, I'll take it all day long. So does that make sense? I don't know. To me, real men have a stiff upper lip. And if getting pumped by the president of the free world would help America and the free world, then you shut up and you take it. You pussy. Joking aside, I'm in the cult. I think he's amazing. I think everything he's done's been amazing. God bless the Orange Oracle. If you haven't got a Trumpy bear, I suggest you get one. Get one for your house. Get the kids one for Christmas. They aren't sponsoring me. They should be. They aren't sponsoring me, but they should be. Where is he? I'm going to get Trumpy bear up. There we go. Get yourself a Trumpy bear. Amazing. Looks just like him. They do not sponsor the channel. I'm just a big fan. Although that's not the one I like. The one I like's got much better eyebrows. Where's the Trump bear with the big thick eyebrows that looks cool? It's not, unless they've like, I don't know, got better at manufacturing. The one I preferred had like big thick eyebrows rather than them Trumpy looking eyebrows. They're the one. That's the one I like. That one. I like this Proud Patriots teddy bear the best because he looks kind of cool. That other one looks a bit too much like him, doesn't it? Yeah, that one. He's my favourite Trumpy bear, that one. I love him. Proud Patriots on the back of his hat. There he is on the White House lawn. Definitely not superimposed that. That's where he belongs. There he is in the Oval Office. Get yourself a Trumpy bear, lads. I'm telling you, perfect Christmas gift for all the family. Platty, thanks for the Angry Bootneck membership. Grab them while the hot, lads. What time is it? Nearly an hour. We'll call it there, can we? Oh, and I've got one more left to do. Don't forget to enter the Galactic Village Idiot. That's a website that God's best friend showed me. It didn't make too much sense to me, but you can check it out if you want. Find Your Way Ban. I've already done the Club of Lang one. What's this? Can we talk about how you can't work without digital ID, but no mention of getting NHS treatment or claiming benefits? Plus, they chose digital ID because they could track you live from the device. Yeah, well, everyone knows that, don't they? To be honest, I haven't bothered talking about that because I think that's the most self-evident thing ever. Like, I'm assuming nobody watching this channel is daft enough to think digital ID is a good idea. And as we know, the dinghy divers aren't allowed in anyway. They are illegal immigrants. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's so obvious. They are illegal immigrants. They're not allowed in anywhere. They don't have a passport or a national insurance number or work permits or a driving license. And they're all allowed in and they all get a hotel and they all get fed and clothed anyway. So digital ID, shock horror, wouldn't make a single jot of difference to the illegal immigrants. So please, don't anybody insult my intelligence by bringing it up in the chat again as if every single one of me and the 818 people watching don't know that, yes, it's a fucking scam and none of the shit that they do with your digital ID would have a single point of difference for the illegal immigrants anyway. All right? So, yeah, we all know that we're all standing against the digital ID. That's why I haven't covered it. It's kind of boring. If you're thick enough, if you're as thick as dehydrated whale spunk and you think digital ID is a good idea, you aren't watching the Angry Bootneck. I guarantee you that. I guarantee all 817 people in the chat have signed the petition and said, digital ID, pork it in your dirt box, Mr. Starmer, you sack of rats. All right? I don't know where he's been. Ooh, Trumpy Bear. I don't. They will all only share the same ID or called more. Yeah, there'll be one digital ID for 4.7 million mighty moles. And last one. Anyone know where I can get a Trump near onesie and a little blue pill? Amazon. Amazon sell everything, don't they? Get yourself a Trumpy Bear. Treat yourself. Treat the kids. Buy two. Trumpy Bear, if you're watching, I think I'm due a sponsorship, surely. All right. Ladies and gents, that's an hour. You can have that for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going on the piss this afternoon. I suggest you do the same thing because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. All right, thanks for tuning in. See you all on Monday. Although I might do a video tomorrow. We'll see. See what's going on. Who knows? All right, have a good Saturday night. See you all very shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the super chats. Stay free. Tell them to poke their fake ID. See you later. Toodle.